You drag the patio chair out from under the deck on the first warm morning of the year. Winter's over, nothing bit you, nothing happened. Then you flip it over to hose it down, and there it is. A silk-wrapped mass the size of a golf ball, pale and dense, attached right where your hand just was. It overwintered there, quietly, while you moved around it for months. The spider inside is not dangerous to you. That's not the issue. The issue is that one sac can hold up to 1,500 eggs. The population doubles every single year, and there is currently no method on Earth to stop it at scale. Where are you watching from? Have you seen one near your home yet? It started in one county in northeast Georgia in 2014, a single confirmed detection. At that point, the Joro spider, Trichonephila clavata, native to Japan, China, Korea, and Taiwan, had likely already been in the country for several years, arriving the way most modern invasives do, inside a shipping container attached to something nobody inspected closely enough. One county. Easy to dismiss. By 2026, verified records span Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, and Maryland. Sightings have been confirmed as far north as Baltimore, and that number, that list of states, is almost certainly already behind where the spider actually is. Here's the thing about the Joro spider that separates it from almost every other invasive species story you've heard. It isn't spreading because it's aggressive. It doesn't sting. Its bite is milder than a bee sting, and researchers have noted that its fangs often can't even pierce human skin. The Georgia Department of Agriculture, the Georgia DNR, the University of Georgia Extension, Penn State Extension, all of them say the same thing. Not dangerous to people, not dangerous to pets. So if the danger isn't to you directly, what exactly are we talking about? We're talking about an animal whose biology, behavior, and timing align so perfectly with the way humans move through the world that every normal tool available for managing an invasive species, targeted pesticide programs, containment zones, and eradication campaigns, becomes functionally useless against it. Not difficult, useless. And the proof is already sitting in the data. The first thing researchers got wrong was the cold. The Joro's closest American relative, the golden silk orb weaver, Trichonephila clavipes, has been present in the United States for a long time. It's native to the deep southeast and it stays there. The assumption was that any spider in the same genus would face the same geographic ceiling, that winters in the mid-Atlantic, the Midwest, the Northeast would do what walls and fences and state lines obviously can't, and simply stop the animal from pushing north. It was a reasonable assumption. It was wrong. A 2022 physiological study by researchers Davis and Frick found that the Joro spider runs a measurably higher metabolism than its American cousin and shows greater cold tolerance. Its heart rate is approximately 77% higher than that of Trichonephila clavipes. That difference isn't a trivial biological footnote. It means the Joro can remain active longer into the cold season than its native relative, which means it can build webs, capture prey, and lay eggs in conditions that shut down every competing spider in the same habitat. And the egg sacs, those dense, white silk structures the size of a golf ball, holding anywhere from 400 to 1,500 eggs, don't need the adult to survive winter. They're engineered to. Attached to leaf litter, tree bark, fence posts, porch railings, and the underside of outdoor furniture, they sit through freezing temperatures without rupturing, without failing, and hatch in spring right on schedule. So the cold ceiling that kept Trichonephila clavipes in the South for decades does not apply here. Climate modeling by Julian and colleagues using maxent species distribution methods, identified more than 2.5 million square kilometers of North American habitat, above 50% suitability for the Joro. Penn State researchers have concluded the spider could eventually establish itself throughout eastern North America. The Great Lakes region appears within the projected range. The math on this isn't speculative. It's based on where the spider already lives in Asia, which spans from subtropical Taiwan all the way north to Japan's cooler latitudes, a climate band that maps almost exactly onto the eastern United States. But cold tolerance alone doesn't explain the speed. The speed comes from two dispersal mechanisms that work completely differently from each other, and the Joro uses both. The first one sounds like a media exaggeration. Flying spiders made headlines in 2024 when the Joro's northward push became undeniable, and a lot of the coverage leaned on the word flying in a way that entomologists immediately pushed back against. Adults don't fly, they don't have wings. What they do, and what their hatchlings do with remarkable efficiency, is called ballooning. Spiderlings fresh out of the egg sac climb to an elevated point, raise their abdomens, and release threads of silk that catch air currents. Research has also confirmed that spiders can use atmospheric electromagnetic fields to generate lift, not just wind. The result is passive aerial dispersal that can carry a spiderling tens to hundreds of miles from its hatching site. It's not a Joro superpower. Ballooning is documented across thousands of spider species. What makes it matter here is the numbers. One egg sac hatchling event can produce up to 1,500 individual ballooning spiders, each a potential founder of a new population, each capable of finding and establishing itself in new territory before anyone knows to look for it. The second mechanism is not natural at all. It's us. An iNaturalist database record from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, traced a Joro spider sighting directly to a road trip from Athens, Georgia, one of the known population centers. The spider had hitchhiked. Adults build webs on vehicles, on outdoor furniture, on camping equipment, on shipping pallets. Egg sacs attach to the same surfaces and overwinter there, invisible to anyone who isn't specifically looking for them. When the vehicle moves, the population moves with it. A moving truck leaving Atlanta carrying a patio set with an egg sac attached to the underside can deposit a founder population in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or Cleveland before the family is done unpacking boxes. This is not a theoretical risk. It's the documented mechanism behind isolated detections appearing hundreds of miles outside the established range, in states where the Joro had no business being yet by natural dispersal alone. And here's the part the "it'll be fine" coverage tends to gloss over. You cannot screen for this. You cannot create a checkpoint system for spider egg sacs on personal property. The Joro's hitchhiking behavior is indistinguishable from the perspective of any inspection protocol from a clean piece of outdoor furniture. The egg sac is pale, dense, and roughly the size of a cotton ball. Most people wouldn't recognize it as a spider egg sac at all, and even if they did, there's no reporting requirement, no quarantine zone, no agricultural inspection that would catch it before the family loads it into the moving van. Now factor in the population growth. This is where the data gets genuinely difficult to dismiss. Researchers conducted forest surveys at 25 sites in the Atlanta region from 2022 through 2024, censusing both Joro spiders and native orb weavers. In 2022, they found 444 Joro spiders across those sites, 16.34 per hour of census. In 2023, that number doubled to 859, or 30.54 per hour. In 2024, it doubled again to 1,713, or 59.14 per hour. Every single site had Joro spiders in all 3 years. Over the same 3 years, the 7 species of native orb-weaving spiders found at those same sites declined by approximately 40% per year. In 2022, researchers found 52 native orb weavers at 18 sites. By 2024, that number had dropped to 18 individuals found across only 8 sites. It needs to be said clearly, correlation is not confirmed causation, and researchers, including University of Georgia ecologist Andy Davis, have explicitly stated that the jury is still out on direct ecological impact. The Joro is not, in Davis's assessment, in the same damage category as the spotted lanternfly or the emerald ash borer. But that concurrent trend, one species doubling annually while 7 species decline annually at the exact same locations, is the kind of pattern that earns the phrase deserves much more ecological scrutiny, which is how a 2023 study in Ecology and Evolution put it. If you want to understand why no containment strategy exists at scale, you have to hold all of this together at once. The population doubles every year. The range expands through 2 independent mechanisms, one natural and one human-assisted. The cold tolerance exceeds every expectation set by its American relative. The egg sacs overwinter on human property and survive transport. The spider is urban adapted, documented at gas pumps, between power lines, on porch railings, along busy roads, meaning it doesn't retreat from human presence the way many invasives do. And across more than 2.5 million square kilometers of projected suitable habitat, the only removal tool that actually works is a broom or a labeled pesticide spray applied directly to a single individual spider. If you subscribe to this channel, you'll get the rest of these cases as we cover them. But stay here for a moment because this is where the story gets more complicated. The most common pushback against concern about the Joro spider runs like this. It's harmless to people. It eats pest insects, including mosquitoes and stink bugs. It might even be beneficial. And that's not wrong. Verified prey items include cockroaches, wasps, beetles, mosquitoes, and brown marmorated stink bugs, themselves an invasive species. Some researchers have pointed to that diet as a potential positive. If you have a Joro web in your garden, it is eating things you probably don't want there. But University of Georgia researcher Brittany Barnes, who runs the Forest Entomology Lab's Citizen Science program, has flagged the caution that belongs alongside that optimism. Joro webs are large, extremely strong, and positioned across flight corridors used by pollinators. The first documented case of any spider web fully supporting the weight of a perching bird, a North American cardinal estimated at 42 to 48 grams and photographed standing on a Joro web without breaking it, was published in 2022 by Schrantz and Davis. That's the tensile strength of the silk. A web that can support a cardinal can intercept a monarch butterfly, a bumblebee, a native pollinator navigating a route it has used for generations. The quantified impact on pollinator populations hasn't been measured yet. That's not reassurance. That's a gap in the research. The 2025 Joro Watch Spotting Program, the citizen science initiative asking Americans to report sightings through jorowatch.org and iNaturalist, collected 3,602 verified records across 112 counties during its spotting season. That's an 835% jump in reporting over the prior year. It would be easy to read that as an 835% jump in spider population, which would be extraordinary. It's more likely that the population was already there at meaningful density, and humans were finally paying attention. The infrastructure of a reproducing invasive population doesn't usually appear suddenly. It appears suddenly in the data. That's the nature of what's actually happening here. The Joro spider didn't announce itself. It arrived in a shipping container, established a population in one Georgia county, overwintered quietly for years in egg sacs, attached to things nobody examined, sent hatchlings into the air every spring, hitched rides on vehicles heading north and west, and by the time the census methods caught up to it, it was already doubling annually at 25 study sites simultaneously. What changes now is not the landscape. The trees are the same. The suburban yards and garden fences and deck furniture and porch railings haven't moved. The hiking trails through the Mid-Atlantic and the Appalachians look exactly as they did before 2014. What changes is what's in them and what's attached to the things you carry out of them. There's a reason the framing is always "nobody can stop them." It's not a counsel of despair, it's a description of scale. Landscape-level eradication of a spider that balloons on wind currents, overwinters in egg sacs on transported property, thrives in urban environments, doubles annually, and has suitable habitat from the Gulf Coast to the Great Lakes is not a problem that has a broom-based solution. Individual removal works on individual spiders. It does absolutely nothing to the population. Eradication programs for invasive species require a contained target, a delivery method that reaches the whole population, and a control mechanism that doesn't harm native species alongside the invasive one. The Joro provides none of those conditions. It is too dispersed, too small at the individual scale, too embedded in the same habitat as native orb weavers that any landscape-level pesticide campaign would also kill. The researchers know this. The extension programs know this. The citizen science programs they've built, asking the public to count and report, exist precisely because human monitoring is the only tool available at the scale the spider is operating at. Go back to the patio chair. It's still on the deck. The egg sac is there, or isn't. You checked this year, maybe you didn't. The question researchers are actually asking right now isn't whether the Joro will spread further. The modeling on that is already settled. The question is what a landscape with 1,713 Joro spiders per hour at 25 forest sites looks like in 5 years, and what the 7 native orb-weaving species declining at 40% per year look like at the end of that same window, and whether the pollinator corridors through those forests look the same or different, and whether the cascading effects of removing those native predator-prey relationships are visible yet in the food web. Those questions don't have answers yet. The spider is ahead of the research. Outside, in the morning light, threads of silk stretch between the deck rails, fine enough that you don't see them until you're already walking through. Some of them are new. Some of them were there all winter, attached to surfaces nobody touched, in the cold, waiting.